Listen, have I got a story for you? Because today's story isn't just about some mobster with a nickname and a cigar. This is about a bloke who looked at crime in New York, messy, emotional, old country nonsense, and turned it into a straight up business. Like he took the Mafia, sat it down at the kitchen table with Nonna and went, "Enough! We're running this like a company. Now pass me the gabagool." Now before you picture Hollywood slow motion suits, Godfather music, people kissing rings, the real story is nastier, smarter, and way more human. It's got hustle, betrayals, street politics, and that kind of cold ambition where a man doesn't just climb, he reorganises the whole mountain. This is the tale of Lucky Luciano. He was born Salvatore Lucania on November 24th in 1897 in Lucaria Freddi, Sicily, a poor mining town. Not postcard Sicily. This is hard, dusty, hungry Sicily. The kind of place where your future is either work, leave, or pray. His family migrates to America when he's a kid, landing in New York City and settling into the Lower East Side. Crowded tenements, street kids everywhere, and every corner has somebody running something. If you've seen Gangs of New York, it's not that dramatic every day, but the vibe is the same. Survival first. Young Salvatore isn't the biggest kid. He's not trying to be the toughest. He's trying to be the smartest. School doesn't last long. He drops out around early teens because the streets are paying better than a classroom. And when you're broke in New York, you don't have the luxury of finding yourself. You find food. He starts running petty hustles, stealing, gambling errands, protection scams, and this is important. Lucky learns early that fear alone isn't enough. Consistency is what makes people pay. You don't shake somebody down once, you make it a system. And that system thinking is basically his superpower. The nickname Lucky sticks after a brutal incident. Depending on who you believe, he gets kidnapped, beaten, stabbed, and left for dead, and then survives. The scars on his face are real either way. He carries that look for life. Not a pretty boy gangster, more like a bloke who's been chewed up by New York and decided to chew back. That moment matters because it hardens him. He learns that you can be clever, but the streets will still test you. And if you survive, you don't come out sweet, you come out focused. He's one of those beats people don't always understand. Lucky's rise isn't just Italian mafia stuff. It's the fact he partnered with guys the old school mafia wouldn't even sit with. He becomes close with Meyer Lansky, a Jewish gangster with a brain like a calculator and patience like a chess master. And he runs with Bugsy Siegel, flashy, violent, and the type who'd smile at you like your mates while he's planning your funeral. Old mustache Pete bosses were like, Italian only, tradition, honour. Lucky's like, honour? Bro, I'm trying to make money. That attitude, working across ethnic lines, became the blueprint for modern organised crime. It's why the mob stopped being a neighbourhood thing and started becoming a network. Lucky comes under Joe the Boss Masseria, one of the top mafia figures in New York. Masseria is old school, power, ego, paranoia. He runs things like a king, not a businessman. He wants loyalty and tribute, and he's happy to spill blood to keep it. Lucky learns a game from him, but he also watches the weakness. Too much pride, too much emotion, too much because I said so. And then New York explodes into a war that's basically the mafia's version of a family Christmas, where Uncle Giuseppe flips the table and Nonna starts crying. Except this is with bullets. The Castello Marenzi War is a violent struggle between Masseria's fraction and Maranzano's fraction. Bodies start dropping, allies become enemies, everyone's nervous, it's bad for business, but the old bosses don't care. Lucky looks at this and thinks like a CEO. If we keep killing each other, the whole thing collapses. And so he decides to end it, Not with a grand battle, but with one of the most famous betrayals in organised crime history. In April 1931, Lucky arranges a lunch with Mafia at a restaurant in Coney Island. Cards on the table, food coming out, casual like any other day. Then Lucky excuses himself, bathroom, phone call, whatever. While he's gone, gunmen walk in and shoot Mafia dead at the table. This isn't just a murder, this is Lucky sending a message. The old way is finished. And if you're hearing Sopranos music in your head right now, good. Because this is the real world version of that cold mob logic. It's not personal, it's business. But with a knife behind your back. So you think Lucky backs Maranzano now, right? Wrong. Maranzano wins the war and declares himself bosses of all bosses. Like he's Julius Caesar, like everyone's supposed to bow. Lucky hears that and goes, yeah, that title is basically a death wish. Because when one man crowns himself king, every other boss starts dreaming about being the one who knocks him off. So Lucky arranges Maranzano's assassination. And this is the key. It's not your typical street hit. The killers reportedly pose as government agents or officials, gain entry and murder him inside his office. 2 bosses gone in months. That's not luck, that's strategy. Now here's the part people don't always get. Lucky's greatest achievement wasn't a hit, it's admin. He scraps the bosses of all bosses nonsense and creates the commission. Basically, the Mafia's board of directors. He structures New York into 5 families, sets rules, territories, dispute resolution, no more emotional wars every time somebody's feelings get hurt. Lucky turns a mafia from a bunch of feuding street kingdoms into a corporate system. And that's why he's the most important gangster in American history. Not because he's the loudest, because he's the architect. Lucky's organisation sits at the centre. Gambling rackets, bootlegging residue money, labour union influence, extortion, protection, and prostitution operations that become the hook that the law uses later. He's not walking around like Scarface screaming, "Say hello to my little friend." He's quieter, controlled, he delegates, he insulates himself. He's not trying to look powerful, he's trying to be untouchable. Then comes Thomas E. Dewey, the prosecutor who makes it his mission to bring Lucky down. Dewey can't easily pin murders on Lucky directly. Too many layers, too much insulation. So he goes after something the public will understand and hate. Prostitution and vice rackets. Lucky gets arrested and tried in 1936. Witnesses testified that the prostitution network answers up the chain. Lucky's defence argues that the case is stacked, witnesses pressured, storylines shaped. Even today, historians argue about the trial, whether it was completely solid or partly engineered to finally get the biggest name. But the result is real. Lucky gets sentenced 30 to 50 years. And here's the brutal irony. The system he builds keeps running without him. He modernised the Mafia so well, it doesn't need him present. That's like getting kicked out of a nightclub you built, and it's still packed every night. Now the part people love because it's so insane it sounds fake. World War II hits. New York stocks are critical. The US worries about sabotage, spies, anything that could disrupt shipping. And who controls the docks? The mob, through unions, longshoremen, influence. So the US government quietly makes contact. And Lucky, even in prison, still has pull. This is where the deal with the devil happens. Lucky's influence helps stabilise the waterfront. There are also long-running claims about assistance related to Sicily during the Allied invasion. Debated in detail, but what's clear is the government treated mob influence as useful. In return, Lucky's sentence is commuted. But he doesn't get freedom in America. He gets exile. Lucky's deported to Italy in 1946. Imagine building your whole identity around New York, then getting shipped back to a country you left as a kid. He tries to operate from overseas. He spends time in Cuba trying to stay connected to American rackets and money flows. But pressure builds, the US leans on Cuba, and Lucky ends up forced out again. And this is the emotional truth people don't talk about. Lucky didn't lose because he got shot. He lost because he got removed. No stage, no audience, no control. He's alive, but his empire is out of reach. Lucky dies in 1962 of a heart attack. No Blaze of Glory, no Scarface ending, no Godfather slow fade. Just gone. And honestly, that's the ending that fits him, because Lucky wasn't a drama guy. He was a system guy. Lucky Luciano wasn't the toughest gangster. He wasn't the loudest, and he wasn't the flashiest. He was the most dangerous type, the one who thinks. Because bullets end lives, but systems outlive men. And Lucky built a system that ran the American underworld for decades. This is the kind of story that would make even Tony Montana say, "Oh, monkey cats."